So I'm going to start sharing some of my stories of like past life experiences. And so before I start to do that, I really wanted to clarify something that I feel is really important to talk about. It's a distinction that I think is important in the mind to hold. Otherwise, we continue to perceive things as a sort of linear reality. And the fact is that, and I'm not disclaiming past lives and saying like they're not yours. They are yours. It's just that they're all yours because we are all things. So it's just currently the whole idea of reincarnation and past lives, people tend to hold it as that, that was, I died and then my soul went into another body and then I had that experience and then, died and then went into another body in this sort of a linear sense. And the fact is that it just doesn't work that way. Something on my floor. That it's all happening now. It's happening simultaneously, and we're connected through networks of information, like patterns of information that interconnect through multiple dimensions of experience. And it is all you, like it's all of us, because all things are all of us. So this is an image that I use a lot to discuss this. Which is a very poorly drawn torus. So I had a vision where I saw a crystal in space and it began to move, and as it began to move, pieces of it began to break off until it was just tiny dots, all moving in the shape of this torus. And I understood so much in this moment. I mean, this was back in like 2007. It was a long time ago. I had this vision and I'd been really questioning the nature of reality and what does it all mean, and like I could understand it in my mind, but like I still felt like I was missing a layer of knowing, and then I had this vision and it was just like a huge remembering in my cells and download of information, like a remembering to all this information where all things are made up of the same, it's all one thing, it's consciousness, it's all one energy, seamless energy, just vibrating in different vibrations that give it different form and experience. And the purpose of all of this is to this sort of expansion. So I have here the middle bit, the point where all is contained. And I mean, obviously a 2D drawing can't do it justice. I'd love eventually to work with an animator to turn all my sort of visions into animations. And then maybe one day that'll happen. And so, each point is an aspect, a perspective, an aspect of our entire self. And the point of this expansion is to experience all possible aspects of self in order to have a deeper understanding of the whole, of who I am. And there's many layers to this, many, many, many layers. And I remember and understand many layers of this and many layers of the dimensions of experience. But that's, there's too much to contain in this one short video. That's for other videos. We can slowly dissect that if you want. I mean, I'm much better at it when people ask me questions, then I kind of can answer the question. But just kind of rambling is always a little bit tricky, because I don't know, there's so much information and it's like, where do you go with it? How do you focus in on certain bits? That's why I prefer to just answer questions. And also it's not like this is stuff like I dwell on all the time. So anyway, so like a past life, like here I've got a few things connected with different colors like that. Could be like patterns of information. So you might be experiencing certain like resonance, certain vibration, certain information in the now, which is part of a greater pattern of information, which in itself like is a being that has its own form and has its own expression, but you are experiencing an aspect of it. And so you'll connect to different points in space and time and different moments that are also equally expressions of that being and that pattern of information, and you perceive it as a past life, but in actuality it is happening in the present, it's happening now, and you're connecting to it because you're resonating with that information. So I don't know if if that makes sense, but I think it does. If you have any questions, let me know. I don't know if there's anything else to say about that right now. But yeah, that's basically what past lives are to me, what I remember them as being, and how I've experienced them. And I wanted to talk about this before I launch into some of the stories and visions that I've had and experiences that I've had that include past lives. Especially, that's it, because especially now in this moment, like so many people are having deep sort of clearing experiences where, a lot of denser energy, stories that are harder, stories from our shadow lands are coming up to the surface to be released, not only from like our own lifetimes, but also ancestral, which similarly is just information that passed down, information not even passed down because that's linear. Language is so difficult. It's information that the cells within your body carry or resonate with. Imprints, like fractal imprints. So anyway, there's a lot of that coming up right now. There's a lot of clearing of energy coming up right now. And so for a lot of people, they might be experiencing things that they can't necessarily understand. Moments of weeping, anger. I mean, there's so many symptoms. And if you really delve into it, and if you ask when this energy comes in, like, what am I experiencing here? You may have memory, you may have visions of things that are happening. And sometimes people identify then with that story, because it can also be like part of a story quite far away from your current reality. And then they identify it and they think it's theirs. It is yours because we're all connected, but it's also not yours in the present. It's a story that is information you're connected to that needs to be processed, looked at, cleaned, and it's part of this whole moment of bringing all the shadow, all that was hidden, to the light. So yeah, any questions, hit me up, and I'm happy to discuss this further, because I love to talk about these things. And this is very affectionately called the brain drawing.